Hey, it's Tom Henson. I am taking a weekend off from Tom's Take and sharing with you a story that I thought would be fun to look at again. It is from an event that happened in Princeton in September of 2023. This originally was posted and aired on September 24th, 2023. So about 22 months, and judging from the video, at least 25 pounds ago. Before I got a little smarter. Enjoy today's video from 2 years ago, and let me know what you'd like to see, if you've got any events coming up or you think there'd be something that other people would be interested in knowing around Starved Rock country. You can always just go ahead and email me at tom@starvedrock.media. Here you go. Hi, thanks for joining me for another installment of Tom's Take, and thank you to my sponsor Kathleen Whalen for her ongoing support. It's something like this that really makes it very rewarding to be a part of the media and to be just plugged into what's going on and to be able to share it with you. I have always been a fan of Princeton's. I'm in Princeton right now on a rainy Friday, September 22nd. I've largely always loved Princeton because of its history. I love history. It helped escaped slaves get to freedom. It encouraged their livelihoods here in Bureau County and in Princeton specifically too. It has always been on the right side of history. So it was puzzling to many people why the monument in Soldiers and Sailors Park, which is across from the courthouse in downtown Princeton in the park, why the monument did not include the 45 black members of the Civil War regiments who fought in the Civil War who were from here, Bureau County. And so it was today that justice was finally done, and they have been recognized in a monument that's behind me, and you're going to see a little bit more of. The rain didn't keep the people of Princeton from coming here and celebrating the people who gave so much and should have been celebrated so long ago. I'll share some of that with you right now.
The monument we dedicate will ensure that their names will be remembered from this day forward. On this day, history finally gets it right. There's one more person I wish to welcome to this dedication ceremony. Frances Clark is the great-granddaughter of Charles Moses. Mr. Moses is one of the 45 soldiers listed on the new monument. Frances, we're glad you're here.
This project began shortly after an article written by local historian Sarah Cooper appeared in the Bureau County Republican. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my friend Sarah Cooper.
The Bureau County Black Civil War soldiers we honor today were truly freedom fighters. They were fighting for their unconditional freedom and that of their families. These men honorably served the Union in a war that did not initially set out to free them. As far as we know, all were born into slavery and fled to Union lines in the midst of the war. They made it to Illinois from Missouri or Kentucky or from the deep South. Some came to Bureau County with a white Union officer. Civil War records list places of residence as Princeton, Dover, Ohio, Manlius, Neponset, Bureau Junction, and Tuscola. Imagine what their harrowing experience had already been. They were essentially refugees. If they came from Missouri or Kentucky, slave states not at war with the Union, the Emancipation Proclamation did not technically apply to them. They had no idea what their status would be, even if the Union prevailed. 18 of these men, as we know, were soldiers in the 29th U.S. Colored Infantry, an Illinois regiment of black soldiers that was formed in 1864. Most of them were mustered into service in early 1865. We know they took part in the siege of Petersburg and the final and victorious campaign to Appomattox. At war's end, these Union veterans remained stateless in their own land for another 3 years. It took until 1868 with the ratification of the 14th Amendment for Black Americans to gain citizenship. We have scant biographical information for most of them. Two exceptions are Abraham Harrison and Charles Moses. As we know, they served in the 29th Infantry, lived out their lives in Princeton, and are buried at Oakland Cemetery. We're grateful that Francis Clark and many other of Charles Moses' descendants are here with us today to help dedicate this monument. This is a big day in Princeton history, actually. September 22nd, the date in 1862 that Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, was known as Emancipation Day. It was grandly celebrated in Princeton for many years after the Civil War. It is indeed cause for celebration that on this September 22nd, these 45 Black Union soldiers from Bureau County are finally being honored. If, as Martin Luther King said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, perhaps it bent just a little more in that direction today in Princeton, Illinois.
If you're listening to this on the radio or you're listening to it streaming, this is a Tom's Take that you're going to want to see in video, which is what's intended to be done, is to see it in video. This is a wet Friday, September 22nd in downtown Princeton, and you can see the images of the people and the events and the plaque itself honoring the 45 Black soldiers who served in the Civil War who had not received recognition in Princeton until now. I encourage you to go check that out on the video if you're just listening to it. So here's more of it.
When the call of our country was heard, Comrade Charles answered. Self was forgotten in the cause of the greater good. As a brave man, he marched away with abiding faith in God, his country, and his flag. The red of our country's flag was made redder still by his heroism. The white, more stainlessly pure by the motives which impelled it. And in the starry field of our nation's glorious banner, the blue has been glorified by the services he has given for our American ideals. Detail, honor our fallen comrade.
Go, point, point. Right hand, hand, fire, hand, fire, hand, fire. Freeze, hand, point.
On behalf of the President and a very grateful nation, I present you this flag, and may it always serve as a reminder of his devotion to duty, honor, and patriotism.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lily, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us try to make men free. God's truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. God's truth is marching on.
Tell me how this feels today. What's this mean to you?
It's overwhelming. I actually didn't know about Charles. I was researching my great-grandfather, Owen, and all I knew about Owen was that he was a Chicago Cubs fan, and he was a quiet demeanor but a commanding presence. And then I came to Princeton and I found Charles's obituaries, and I understand that he was had a commanding presence, an industrious man, and a well-respected person in the Princeton community. He was once enslaved, and then he elected to serve in a country that didn't always respect his human dignity.
Where had he been enslaved?
Well, that's debatable. It looks like Kentucky or possibly Tennessee.
So he truly was a remarkable man. Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
From Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So it must have been very rewarding for you to learn about this about him.
Yes.
Oh, you must be very proud too. Even not having known him, you must be proud.
I
was speaking with former Princeton Mayor Joel Querim a couple of minutes ago, and I said, despite the rain, this is the kind of thing that would bring Princeton out, and it has. So, congratulations to Princeton. Congratulations for making good on something that they should have done a long time ago, but thankfully they've done it now. And thank you to those 45 men who we finally remember officially today. Thanks again to my friend and sponsor Kathleen Whalen for sponsoring this multimedia project. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any ideas for something you'd like to see on Tom's Take, go ahead and give me a call at the station at 815-223-3100. I'll talk to you in the morning.